Well, hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome back to Asshat Podcast on YouTube. I'm gonna throw this out there. There's no more Asshat Podcast fan page on Facebook. Got a little notification. You ain't allowed to call it Asshat because it's got cussing in it. I was like, all right, cool. I'll rename it A asterisk hat. Can't do that. You gotta call it A hat. I'm like, no, I just deleted the page. So it might pop up on you eventually. YouTube, I have to change the name on here, but it's still gonna be Asshat Podcast. Hey, come on now. But get back to what we're here for. Another issue of Video Watchdog, everybody. This issue 24. Barbara Steele cover. Edgar Allan Poe, Letterboxd and AIP Classics. Roger Corman interview. Elizabeth Shepard on Tomb Legia. Rarities, retitles, and restorations. Plus Bruce Lee and John Woo. And this is August of 94. Which probably means it came out in like June, July. Excuse me. Think about it. Back in 94, y'all were around back then, which, according to my analytics, most of my audience was. I've been looking at my analytics. Most of y'all are close to my age. Within 10 years of each other. I don't draw young. I don't talk about shit that young people give a fuck about on here. Did y'all know who the fuck John Woo was? Yeah. I'd heard of him. I'd heard of what? I think The Killer was out. Hard Boils, Heroes Shed No Tears. Handful of stuff was out. But I don't think I'd seen much of it. Let's see what we got here. I'll start off. We got a really good picture. That's Raven, I would think. Yeah, from the Raven. All right, let's go to our kennel. We got Tim Lucas and Douglas E. Winters, only two names I recognize. And just watch everybody talking about news show already. No, it's not the first full monthly issue of VW. It's just another 80-page info monster. Lumbering your way a month earlier. This is a great article about how I've done that issue. An old issue of Video Watch, I was like issue 19, had a big article on what was the best version of Nosferatu to get a hold of. And of course, by the time this came out, there was a lot more stuff found. It goes into detail where the guys found all this. We got our retitling, Barbarian Master is actually the canon film Sword and the Barbarian. But because of duplication error, some copies of Barbarian Master actually contain Viking Massacre, a retitled edition of Mario Bava's Knives of the Avengers. The Mafu Cage. Police Connection, which is the Mad Bomber. I know the Mafu Cage is the Mafu Cage. Quest for Seven Cities is actually Gold of the Amazon Women. Smokescreen is Palladius Royale. Super Argo and the Faceless Giants. I think I've got that. Taste of Sin is actually Uli Lomel's Olivia. I have an issue that will be coming up soon that's a big article, Uli Lomel. He, best known to people my age, he made the original The Boogeyman film. Real good little film. Modern audiences, he did a lot of those really cheap direct-to-video films based on different serial killers and mass murderers. Back, what was it? Hell, like 10, 15 years ago, you go to a video store and they'd be like, The Green River Killer and BTK Killer and all this, and they looked really cheap, and you rent them, they suck. How's Uli Lomel? He needed to make money. And Terror on the Ming is actually the folks at Red Wolf Inn. I wonder if that's uncut. Alright, so our tape thing. We got the Chinese room, which I never heard. Coffin Joe's Visions of Terror. There's Coffin Joe. And this is just a Something Weird video collection of a bunch of trailers, not translated, of course. Day of the Nightmare, never actually heard that one. But then The Devil's Wedding Night with, I know her as Sarah Bay, but I know her real name is Rosalba Neary. I knew her from Lady Frankenstein. Sounds pretty good. That's from Midnight Video. Now, this is back in the day. This is tape days, people. This is 94, so you got tape and Laserdisc. It's back in the day when, collector's tapes, a lot of ways to get this year hard, and they're expensive. Like, Devil's Wedding Night was $23.50. It was like $23, $24 for each one of these. For World My Concubine, which I actually have not seen. Here we go. Hard Boiled from Fox Lorber, $92.98. Look at that. Yeah, and this is not the best quality copy of it. A Holy Weapon, which ends up being a bootleg. That's what that would be. Incredible 30s, Van Buren cartoons. I love Van Buren. Bosco Video, I don't even think it's around anymore. Let Me Die Woman, The Iron Monkey. Let Me Die Woman, it's a Doris Wishman. And it's a very early film on transgendered people and gender reassignment surgery. I was trying to think of how what they call it now. It was just called sex change back then. But time change. Monster on the Campus, which is one of those old, 50s films I heard a lot about. Never got to see the Moon Wars from Tyson. Perversion for Something Weird, which is a It's made by this guy that did the Coffin Joe stuff. It's not a Coffin Joe film. The Return of Jafar. This is the one that started all those direct-to-video, not very good Disney sequels. Disney realized they could release 1 or 2 of these a year. It makes some big money because parents. I mean, come on now. Once the video day started, you know what the Disney videos were. That was a babysitter. You got, let's just say, an 8-year-old, a year-old lady, or you and your man, or whatever. Decide, we need to keep the kid occupied for 40 minutes while we slip off to the room for a little bit. Oh, fuck it, go buy them a Disney tape. It's $20, They'll watch it 20 times in a week. Hey, that works. That started it. Rouge, which I've never heard of. Rugrats, Chucky the Bear. This is kind of neat. Now, this is talking about, this was back in 94 when Ren and Stimpy was the big shit out of the Disney Nicktoons. You had, by 94, you had what? Rocko's Modern Life, Ren and Stimpy, Rugrats, and Doug. I watched Ren and Stimpy, Rugrats, and Doug. But my favorite was Ren and Stimpy. Rugrats is one that did not grow on me until I got a little bit older. That's how it's actually fairly well done. Okay, Sin in the Suburbs. This is supposed to be Joe Sarno's first film, and look at that. There's some crazy shit. Swamp of the Ravens. Now, this is one of those films, Video Search Miami. The only reason I even know of this film is back, God, it was like 2007, 2008, 2006, somewhere around. Dollar Tree. The Dollar Tree chain got in a bunch of these horror DVDs, like double features, and a lot of them were ripped from Video Search Miami tapes, Something Weird videotapes, Sinister Cinema. And the stuff that went out on DVD, and these things were like popular as fuck, and then they all got pulled in. Swamp of the Ravens was one of the films. The Stain Source, another. Oh, it's a World Video and Supply Company. Never heard of them. Vampiros Lesbos. Jess Franco's English subtitle version, a sequel to his Count Dracula. Franco's one of those I'm kind of into. This was a great article. Oh, God. Okay, back in the day, people were spoiled with DVD and Blu-ray and 4K and streaming. You're used to widescreen. I mean, really used to. Used to be, people bitched about widescreen, the few widescreen videos. Oh, there's a bar top on this picture. No, you're not. I don't know how many people I had to explain this shit to. No, you're not missing anything. I'm in the video store. The few widescreen tapes they had, they tell you, okay, there's nothing wrong with the tape. You're not missing any picture. And people can still bitch. I'm like, oh my God, you morons. Well, this is how they sat down. Was Orion Image Entertainment sat down and put out nice widescreen editions of some of the Roger Corman Poe films. And this is the first two. These are on Laserdisc at $50. Wow. 2 films on Laser. You got The Fall of the House Usher and Pit and the Pendulum. Great article on this. I have both of those on DVD now. For way less than $50. I think I paid like $5. A couple years ago, the Cheap Men had a bunch of the Corman, Vincent Price stuff really cheap. Then we got a nice little interview, and who's it with? Oh, 14 years ago. Wow. I guess it's with Corman. I don't really see. I don't remember. It's been a little bit since I read this article, but good little interview about the Poe films. Some great pictures. I love that picture of Price. I love this art. Watching the 2 Miles Year with Elizabeth Shepard. An audio commentary interview. There's Miss Shepard right there. It gives you timestamps of what she's talking about. That's kind of neat. I mean, back in the day, especially Laserdisc days. Out there, how many people watching this or around in Laserdisc owned a Laserdisc player? If you did, leave a comment. I'm curious. Because I didn't get one for the longest ass time. Like a low time. My first Laserdisc player was probably 90, I think it was 98. And I should have just waited. And then not about 2002 when everybody was just dumping Laserdisc and you get players cheap. I got a better player, one that auto flipped and all that shit. And a pile of discs for cheap. And now I'm down to almost no disc. I have a few discs. I'm holding on to because either A, they're not out on DVD, Blu-ray, 4K, or B, if they are, there's stuff on the Laserdisc ain't on them, or the Laserdisc looks better or sounds better. But here's the thing, I don't even have a Laserdisc player anymore. My player died as a recording a few years back, and I looked into it, and to get it repaired was going to cost more than me what it was worth. So, and my other Laserdisc I have left is just stuff that local junk store around the corner from me went in one day, and he had a pile of Laserdiscs. I'm like, oh, cool. He goes, those are not records. I'm like, yeah, they're Laserdiscs. He goes, oh, okay. You know what they're? I was like, yeah. He's like, well, $1 each. So I bought a stack of them. Just because I don't see Laserdisc anywhere. It was mostly Westerns. I flipped a bunch of them. Audio Watchdog. Now, what are they covering this one? The Crow. Oh, it's about the actual soundtrack for The Crow. The score, not... Because I had the Crow soundtrack, and most of the songs barely got played in the film, but the score was pretty good. I enjoy the Crow soundtrack. I need to get another copy. The Vampire Film, from Nosferatu to Bram Stoker's Dracula. And we'll get our Laserdisc. Abbott and Costello Meet the Monsters collection. Oh, that's... Holy shit. So 3-disc set includes Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, Abbott and Costello Meet the Invisible Man, Abbott and Costello Meet Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy. Out of all those, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is probably my favorite, but that was the one I saw the most. Just because I saw Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein first, if I remember it right, but Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, for some reason I recorded that one. Like, after, I've told this story, I'll tell you, it's not everyone watches it really. Back in the day when I was young, like this would be late 70s, earlier 80s, probably about 84. One of the local channels that we picked up on our antenna had a horror host. And every Saturday at 10:30, he went from 10:30 to 12:30 in his first film. And 12:30 to 2:30 was the second film. And it was Sergeant Graves. That was his name. Don't touch that dial, I'll have to bite you. That was his catchphrase when he went to commercial break. And he showed some decent stuff. Well, after Sergeant Graves retired or whatever, because it's just like 1 week Sergeant Graves on, next week he was gone. I can't find any information on this guy. I've looked all over the internet. Of course, and I'm wanting to say it was a channel either out of Mobile, Alabama or Pensacola, Florida. But I've looked all over it and there's no proof of Sergeant Graves existing. And it's kind of weird because I thought for years, Mississippi didn't have a horror host. Oh, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Well, Dr. Jekyll, I was telling me Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde aired after Sergeant Graves quit hosting. They still showed 1 or 2 horror movies every Saturday night on that. I want to say it was an ABC affiliate. It was the ABC affiliate out of Mobile, Channel 3 back then. I don't know what it is anymore. Because they were kind of known for, I don't know how many people know this, but when the show NYPD Blue aired, it never really aired in Mississippi. Every ABC affiliate station in the state refused to show it. They show Andy Griffith reruns, so for a while there, my mother and then me later on for her friends, because they lived in town and didn't get the ABC affiliate we got. We got the one from Mobile that showed it. We'd record and just pass the tape around. But that ABC affiliate kept on showing horror films, and one of them, and I happened to record it because it came on late. Because usually I could stay awake from 10:30 to 12:30 and catch the first film. By the time this has happened at 12 o'clock, ba-boom, Wrestling Challenge was coming on NBC, so I had to watch Wrestling Challenge and I'd crash out. So I'd record something, and I recorded I would still meet Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and I watched it a bunch. Somewhere in the collection, I got a DVD of Singuli hosting it. Then we get a bunch of Bruce Lee stuff. We got, Bruce Lee Curse the Dragon. I don't know what that is. Bruce Lee, Chinese Kitchen, Dragon the Bruce Lee story, and the Dragon Fist of Fury. Oh, I'll skip something. Robinson Crusoe on Mars. That's another one that I saw syndicated, and I don't know if it was Sergeant Graves or afterwards. Man, I'm gonna do a big article. I wish I had pictures of him and shit. I want to do a big article of Sergeant Graves for my blog, but I can't. There's no info. And the other weird thing is that all my friends are the same age, we grew up in the same area. They don't remember him because most of them, firstly, their parents were going to let them stay up late on Saturday to watch horror movies because I live in a fairly religious area. And secondly, most of them had to be up early Sunday morning to go to church. I was raised in a family that was mostly Catholic. We went to church on Saturday afternoons. We went to Mass on Saturday afternoons, get that shit out of the way. You sleep in on Sundays. I get the Catholics that I don't agree with a lot of stuff to do, but I like that Saturday Mass at like 5 o'clock. Yeah. Get it out of the way, get it done, boom, go do something. You sleep in on Sundays. The War of the Worlds and When Worlds Collide. And then we have a bunch of letters. I love this picture of the Wolfman there. Then back issues. The back cover is Vincent Price. What is it? The Fall of the House of Usher. And that's another issue of Video Watchdog. Hope y'all enjoyed that. Remember, if you did, give me that thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe, all that other bullshit. Talk to everybody later. Bye-bye.